Good morning, this is Jack, the Untitled.net, and this is the pre-market recording for the morning of Thursday, the 19th of August. Our disclaimer, we do this for educational purposes only. We're here to share our technical analysis with you. We hope you can take some of what we're doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. We're not here to issue trading signals. Right, 2 days ago in the intraday webinar, I was talking about, on ES, a rally to ideally weekly pivot, and if we got through it, then we'd retest the high, and if we failed there, then we'd come back to 43.50. We have done the 43.50. That is the reversion to the mean target, and of course, we are now in the area, although we haven't hit it in RTH yet, but we're likely to. We're now in the area to touch the main rising support trend line on SPX, so we will see. Now, from here, we've got more inflection points. We could well see a rally here. We've got the monthly pivot here. If we see a rally here that got us up to, let's say, in the 4400 to 4425 area, and then we may well be forming a right shoulder on this larger pattern. What is the case for going lower? Well, there's not a bad case for going lower, but an awful lot of that case is about NQ. NQ has now broken down from the main double top here. Not an RTH yet, but this is the main one I'm watching, and it's actually the first one of two large double top setups or possible head and shoulders for this larger one, part formed. And here we've broken down below the double top setup here, and it's nice. Usual inflection point. Now we could just reject back up into the high, or we could head down to the target area, which is in the 14,375 area. So that is what I'm looking at for the inflection point here. I'm thinking we'll probably see a rally from this area, and it'll probably be a decent rally, but I'm thinking we're probably going to see a retest of this in RTH before we deliver that rally. Not for certain, but very possibly, yes. That could give us 60-minute buy signals if you look at ES and NQ and so on and so forth, depending on where that retest comes from. But NQ is the main thing I'm looking at for the case for going even lower. RTY has made the double top target pretty much, and I've got this really nice falling megaphone here, which means that I'm going to be watching for a rally, and if we come back and retest the low, then that would give us double bottom to get us back to this declining resistance currently in the 2170 area. But we've got two targets on this slightly asymmetric double top, and we've made the first one. Do I think we're going to go a bit lower and make the second one? Yes, I think we probably will. YM. YM, little double top here, that has more than made target. No positive divergence here either yet, but we may well be setting that up this morning. Again, we're testing the monthly pivot as we are on ES. DAX and STX, nice breakdown, not at any obvious support level here. I've got a possible head and shoulder neckline here on DAX in the monthly pivot area, which we've not yet reached. We are reaching a possible head and shoulder neckline, although there's a better one a little lower in the 45 area. We're reaching a possible level here. All of these pretty much could get possible 60-minute buy signals brewing in the event that we come back and retest these overnight lows in RTH. And I think there's a pretty good chance that we're going to see that. Now, we might see a larger rally before we see that. I'm not seeing any negative divergence at the moment on the shorter term ES charts, but that's what I'm looking at here. Let's have a look and see how that looks on bigger picture charts. Now, on the 60-minute chart, this is the main target. This is the main rising support trend line from the March 2020 low, and this is on ES in the 43.45 to 50 area. And that is where I'm thinking where to go to. We could set up positive divergence on the 60-minute here too. Depends where we rally to this morning and how long that rally lasts, because obviously it needs to last only at the end of the hour does a candle finish. So you need 2 or 3 candles to set up a divergence on the hourly at least. On the hourly chart, you can see the head and shoulders here has made target, and we're getting down to the next obvious head and shoulder neckline here, which is actually, because it's an RTH and excludes some of the overnight action, actually up here in about the 43.70 area. We are actually in that area right now. If we would see a rally from here, we could be forming a right shoulder on that, and that is something I would be keeping an eye on. In terms of the daily chart here, depends where we close the day, of course, but we've we didn't have a RSI 5 sell signal here, so obviously that's made target. We closed yesterday well below the daily middle band. Now that's important because normally if you're going to see a rejection from back above the daily middle band, it's the following day. Yesterday was the break below the daily middle band. Today we would be looking at the break potentially back above it. I've got that at 44.23 now. And if we see a rejection candle that closes significantly above that, I'd be looking really for a retest of the all-time high. And I think there's a pretty good chance we would see that. So we will see how that goes. We've also had a decent break. How much have you fallen from the high? Well, it's more than 2%. Yeah, okay, we're potentially on the 5-day, the 3-day rule as well if we break back above. But again, that would require a very large rally. So we will see. Okay, looking at NDX. NDX has made the daily sell signal target. We've still got other signals here. We've got the daily RSI 14 sell signal. We've made the RSI 5. We've got weeklies as well. Obviously, we've seen a decent break below the daily middle band. So the question is, what happens here? Again, we could see a rejection candle, and I'll be watching out for that. Yeah, I can have a look at TJX, no worries. We've broken the short-term rising support. I do have a really obvious support trend line here in the 14,000 area, which I am wondering about a move there. IWM, I posted these. I posted this double top a couple of days ago. We're basically going to be making target today, I think, and that is then played out. Do I have a larger reversal pattern here? Yes, I do. And if we get to that target, we're basically completing a head and shoulders. And this obviously has the potential to head down as well as the NDX pattern and larger setups that we're looking at. Dow, we had a little double top here. That pretty much made target yesterday, but certainly would have made target today. We don't really have a larger pattern than that. Possible head and shoulder options, but nothing really that looks compelling on a double top basis. That RSI 14 sell signal has made target. Again, I'm going to be watching positive divergence at the lows today. In terms of the daily chart, did we get a negative divergence? We did not, but we did see a break below the daily middle band there again today. And again, I'll be watching for a potential reversal candle today. I'm not really expecting to see one, although I am thinking that, one of the options we've got here on the main rising support trend line on SPX is that we come down to it and potentially we could turn there and just head straight back up to wedge resistance. I've got that in the 4,500 area now. Don't discount that possibility. We haven't had any really serious support breaks here yet. This is just a reversion to the mean move, and we've already pretty much made that target, ideally with another retest in RTH. So we will see how it goes from here, but I'll be watching this trend line very carefully. I would love to see it hold. That doesn't mean it needs to hold for long afterwards, but it just strengthens the trend line. So we will see. Okay, great. Let's have a look at, hang on, I've got a couple of questions. Where is the main rising support on ES? I've already said that's basically in the 43, 45, 250 area. If we see a definitive break of that, it would considerably increase the chances of going to make that NQ target and the RTY targets, the much larger ones. So that could really open up on ES and move down to the 42.25, 4200 area. When reverting to the mean, what defines the mean? In this particular case, I'm talking about the 45 DMA, which basically we hit overnight. That is, when I'm talking about deviations from the mean and highs against the mean, etc., I'm always talking about the 45 DMA. Why is it the 45 DMA rather than the 50? I don't know, it just is. So that's just the one we've always used. It tends to be the best guide. That tends to be what gets used. So we shall see. Okay, DX. DX, I have a lot. We made a higher high, and I've got a lot of negative divergence here. We haven't got a sell signal yet, but I'm thinking we're probably going to get one. This double top no longer looks particularly like a double top, but I think we may be making a significant high here anyway, and we will see. CB, we had a head and shoulders which broke down yesterday, and this is rejected back to the high. I'm still thinking we're probably going to come back and retest this high here in the 167.05 area. I do have a nice rising support trend line now that is in the 165 area. CL has gone lower, made stands target at about 63 or 63.5 or something. I think we don't have any positive divergence here. I've mentioned before that we've got a very nice potential head and shoulder neckline in the 61 area, and I'm wondering if we're going to test that. and see a decent rally there. NG is still in the inflection point here. We've obviously got this double top, which is broken down with a target in the 3.47 area. That is supported by a daily RSI 14 sell signal, which is a pretty nice sell signal. So we will see how that goes. But we do have a potential setup here to reject back up to the high, little double bottom. So we've got the usual inflection point, either reject into the high or head down. And I think it's going to do one or the other. The lower it gets, well, the bull setup is weakening. Gets much lower, it'll be going. So the further we go down, the more it looks like we're going to head down to this target and the decent support in this 3.5 area. I think it may well head off to that target. Certainly we've come a very long way on NG in a shortish time. We've got the RSI 14 sell signal. They usually make target, and it certainly, I think it needs a retracement. GC. GC, I think this is I think this is supporting the fact that I think the dollar's about to turn back down. This is a bull flag, which is starting to break up. SI. SI looks like a bull flag too, less clear in terms of the trend lines. HG has come down a long way. We lost the positive divergence there, but I'm looking for a rally here just because we've broken the RSI price cycle here. And it was a pretty nice one. So I'm thinking we're going to see a decent rally, and we're starting that now. We could see another retest of the lows to set up positive divergence on the 60-minute chart. USD. 60-minute buy signal has now fixed. So it's no longer a weak buy signal, it's a full size one. I'm liking a low here, still a decent looking double bottom. GBP USD. We've broken down below this trend line here and back tested it. This could go lower. No current positive divergence. I'm not really expecting to see a retest this low, but it is possible. USD JPY. Beautiful. Look at that. The IHS was showing yesterday, made that target beautifully and rejected. So we've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed. That's getting into the possible near miss target area. So keeping an eye on it from here, but that was textbook. That was nice. USD CAD. USD CAD has gone higher, and the 60-minute sell signal has failed. Wondering about a retest of this high here in the 1.2807 area. Australian dollar. Australian dollar, we've got a move down lower here. No particular. We lost the 60-minute buy signal. This could go lower here. I'm not seeing any obvious reason why it would, but I'm not seeing any obvious reason for it to turn back up at the moment either. NZUSD, nice looking falling wedge here, heading back to the resistance there. We've got a 60-minute buy signal fixed, which hasn't failed yet. It could fail. I'm watching this resistance. This really isn't a bad falling wedge. I quite like it. So we'll see how that goes. KC. KC, we made the sell signal target. Kind of looks like a bull flag forming. May well turn back up here. SB. 60-minute sell signal fixed. I've got a nice looking head and shoulders, which is broken down with a target in the 1930 area. This may well head off and make that target. We'll see. CC. 60-minute sell signal fixed, but we may be losing that. I think we may have lost that. I need to roll this. Unfortunately, I've got some divorce deadlines today, so it's probably going to be the weekend where I roll these. But at the moment, this is breaking through the resistance, and it's got over my trend line. Wheat. Wheat really just consolidating since it broke down here. Again, I think wheat is the other one that's rolled. All the Septembers on the commodities have rolled, and oil has rolled, and energy is about to roll, so I'll be rolling them all at the weekend. So waiting to see if we get some more downside here. We're still on a 60-minute sell signal, which hasn't reached the possible near miss target. Corn. All right, I might be switching to safe charts now. Yeah, we are. Okay, corn. Still looks like a bull flag forming, no current divergence. Soy. Nice support here, might hold. Waiting to see if it does. No current positive divergence. Cotton, we're on a 60-minute sell signal, and that's made the possible near miss target now. I was looking at weak pivot support yesterday. It's testing that could hold. And lumber, no turn yet, but I'm still quite liking a turn. But we need, obviously, the bulls need to show up and buy. So we'll see if there are any lumber balls left after this bruising decline, because it's actually lost basically 75% of the high. I remember I was saying 3 months ago that I was bullish about all the commodities over the next year except for lumber. So that was why. Okay, live cattle has broken up here, looking for a retest of this high. Lean hogs broken up here, and I'm looking for a likely move up and very possibly a retest of this high. Okay, let's have a quick look at just answer the other questions. Right, GDX, let's do that next. Right, rhythmic. I think the plan is on the RTH retest of this low, which we are likely to see, that we're going to take two of the micros off, and we're going to be looking at a long into 4400, which is a long I think we're probably going to get. I mean, it doesn't have to stop at that. It doesn't have to stop there, but chances are it's going to get there. So I think there's pretty good odds of that, and we're planning to play that. And it stands in all day today. We are watching GDX. GDX. I think I'm leaning bullish here, really. I mean, the pattern setup looks pretty promising. We don't have positive divergence on the 60-minute chart, but if you look at the daily chart, we've got an RSI 14 buy signal fixed. We've actually got an RSI 5 buy signal brewing. I'm really liking it. It's looking good, and if dollar turns here and behaves, then I'm really not seeing any reason why it wouldn't go up. I like the setup on GDXJ as well. And there's a possibility it could head a little lower, but it looks like it wants to turn back up. All right, platinum. Platinum, let's just have a quick look. Can't see the platinum stuff overnight because I'm using an RTH chart. So I'm not sure what it's done overnight. Let's have a quick look at the platinum chart. I'm quite liking a low here, wondering about a retest of this low before it does that, but it doesn't need to. No current positive divergence, although we would get some if we did retest that low. So I'm wondering about that retest of 9454. But if it's going to trade with gold and silver, then we're probably not going to get that. Okay. Right, any more questions, guys? Right, we're well into a rally here. I'd quite like to see that reverse and go back and retest the overnight low, but it may be that we're going to do a rally first and then go back and retest it. Chances are we will retest that because this target here is an RTH target. In fact, 45 DMA is an RTH target that I was taking it from. Although technically, testing that on ES might well be enough, I would have thought. But chances are we're going to see a rally. I'd like to see it sooner rather than later because that would give us the possibility of 60-minute buy signals, which would be a useful indicator here. But I think we'll open up. We will see. Do we have a potential setup on this open here? Well, let's have a quick look because here, let's see if I've got my data showing me yet. Right, okay. You can see we're reaching the potential head and shoulder neckline here. What could we be looking at here? Well, if we were to form a right shoulder here, ideally on ES, the target would be in the 44.25 area. And that would make a really nice head and shoulder pattern. We could, if we don't make an AM low today, we could be heading off and doing that, in which case I'd be looking at that. And that, of course, also would be a back test, in effect, of the daily middle band, which is in the same area. So we will see how it goes. But that is the, if we go straight there, that is the next obvious resistance area. It's the back test of the middle band. And I'd be leaning towards that holding and coming back and at least retesting these overnight lows in RTH. After that, it's possible we can make a low that could take us to 4,500. We would see. All right, guys. In that case, I think that's a wrap. Unless I've got any more questions. Stan and I will be around all day. We're expecting to make a rhythmic trade or two today. And we will be watching. So we will see how it goes. All right. Cheers, guys. Catch you later.